Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about all things financial literacy. And about 3 weeks ago, I was approved for the Chase Unlimited business credit card with a $10,000 limit. And yesterday, I was approved for the Chase Inc. Business Premier for $10,000 with no documentation. So this is the second Chase card that I've gotten within like the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. So making it $20,000 of available business credit line. Now, on this video, I really want to get into the details of this card because, even though it's nice to have this credit line, this card I would not say is for everyone. I want to go over the pros. I want to go over the cons of this card. I want to also compare it to the last card that I got, the Business Unlimited, and just give you an idea of which case would be the best time to use this card. And if it's for you or it's not for you, I'll also be going over the data points to getting approved for this card as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So just like the previous video, I want to start by going over the no doc stated income. So this simply means that this is a no documentation credit card that I was able to get approved for. And I did not have to present any tax returns. I did not have to present any profit and loss statements, anything like that. I was able to leverage my credit in order to be able to get approved for this card. So again, no doc business credit cards. They're designed for entrepreneurs like me and you. And without having to provide any extensive financial documentation, I was able to get approved. And anyone can do the exact same thing. You don't have to make a certain amount of money. You're able to do stated income, so a projection of what you think your business might make in the future, and also present stated income for how much money you might make right now from your job. And then you're able to get approved for this card if you meet the credit worthiness criteria. So you do have to keep that in mind. But again, at the end, we will go over the data points in order to do that. In the meantime, let's get into the details of this particular card. All right, I'm going to go over the overview of this card at the time of recording this video. So the Inc. Business Premier is a credit card. Unlike a few of the other Chase Small Business cards in the lineup, this one offers 5% cash back on travel purchases through Chase Travel. That is a benefit of this card. You also get 2.5% cash back on all purchases of $5,000 or more and 2% cash back on all purchases. This is also Chase first pay in full business card, so it actually functions as a charge card. Although select purchases can be paid over time, there is a limit for that. In my case, I have $2,000 that can be paid over time. If you saw my American Express videos or any of those videos where I talk about like the platinum or the gold, then we talk about charge cards, right? They're cards that are supposed to be paid in full within 30 days. Now, American Express has the pay over time feature where you can carry over a certain balance over time. This card also has the exact same feature, but for this one, for me, it's $2,000. On the American Express Platinum, I can carry over $100,000. Now, while that is a huge difference in the amount that you can carry over, it's very unlikely I would ever carry that amount over because of the interest rate. Same with this card. Now, the card really rewards you if you make large purchases with a high cashback earning rate, but there is an annual fee of $195, and we're going to talk more about that annual fee. The previous card, the Chase Inc. Unlimited, has no annual fee. It also has a 0% APR promotion for 12 months at the time of recording this video. Again, all of these things are subject to change depending on the time that you're watching this video. This may or may not be relevant, or the terms that this card has may change in the future. So keep that in mind when you're watching this video. Now, the Inc. Business Premier Credit Card offers this bonus to new members, once again, at the time of recording. You can earn $1,000 bonus cash back after you spend $10,000 on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. So that $1,000 cash back that you can actually earn is pretty cool. If you were looking at doing something where you had to make a large purchase, anything like that, like maybe you were going to do inventory and you were going to spend $10,000. Well, that's awesome because you essentially can get 10% cash back when you make that purchase or you make that accumulation in the first 90 days. So that is one of the things that did attract me to this card. You'll see some other cards with this same exact offer or something similar, but you do have to spend a lot more in order to actually get that same type of cash back. So that is one of the benefits of having this card. And again, it depends on the time you're watching this video. This may or may not still be offered. Now, this card may not be for everyone. Like I started the video with, businesses with regular large expenses, like if you're normally spending $5,000 or more per transaction, this card is for you. This card is not for businesses with small expenses. However, this large spend can easily help you recoup the annual fee. And I do have some figures that I'm going to show you soon to give you a comparison of how this may or may not make sense. So if you do have high spend, you'll get to enjoy high rewards. And this cashback business card is great without the hassle of category bonuses. So if you're familiar with some of the other charge cards like American Express, it's not a flat rate. Some of them are based off of the categories, and in some you get higher cashback than others, or you get more points than others. And there are still a few travel perks that kind of sweeten the pot with this card. And there's no foreign transaction fees. There's also travel insurance. And then once again, that 5% cash back on travel when you book it through Chase. Now, your cash will come in the form of Chase Ultimate Rewards points. And I'm going to clarify this because I'm sure some of you are thinking this. 1 point equals 1 penny. Just don't expect to transfer points to travel partners or net a higher redemption value by using your points for travel. This is two perks that's offered by other Chase business cards like the Freedom and some other cards that Chase has on the personal side. Now, even though the terms and conditions on this card state that this card earns ultimate reward points, it's not the traditional ultimate reward points that you're used to. So you can transfer the ultimate rewards points for most Chase cards, right? If you're familiar with this. Some of you guys may not know this, but a lot of people use credit cards for points. There's a lot of things that you could do with them. Now, normally you'll be able to transfer points. Unfortunately, on the Business Premier, you're not able to transfer your ultimate rewards points and pull them together. This is really simply a cashback card, and that is unfortunate because with that sort of high spend, you would want to be able to transfer that. That is a huge drawback on this card. And of course, with this also being a charge card, you do need to pay everything within 30 days, but that's something where, most of us would have already done that. But there is that flex spend, which allows cardholders to finance qualified purchases of $500 or more up to a set limit. So in order for you to have that flex spend to carry over a balance, it does have to be at least $500 or more, and you will have a limit that's assigned to you. All other purchases must be paid in full each billing cycle. Keep that in mind if you're racking up big charges. Now, for most of us, if you're using this or you're paying your cards off in full every month, this doesn't really matter because you never would carry over interest. But if you did, just understand there's a limit to how much that you can carry over. You can't carry over $10,000 unless that's your limit. More than likely, it's not. You'll probably have something a lot smaller. So just bear that in mind with this card. All right. I want to give you a breakdown of how this card can be used to earn rewards and if it actually might make sense for you. And we're going to be doing a comparison of the card I was previously approved for, which is the Business Unlimited. And we're going to be comparing that to the Business Premier. Now, let's take a look at the Business Unlimited first. Now, if you were to spend $7,800, and I'm going to go into why I'm using this exact amount, but if you were to spend $7,800 on the Business Unlimited at 1.5% cash back, you would earn $117. I know that's very simple math. You're like, okay, that's easy, right? Okay, I spend $7,800. I earn $117 because there's no annual fee. Well, let's compare that to the Business Premier and see when this might make sense for you. Now, on the Business Premier, if you were to spend 2%, you would have to spend $9,750 in order for you to get back $195. That would just be for you to simply break even. And you can see the proof of this by taking $9,750, multiplying that by 0.02. That equals $195. Now, that's if you were making transactions that were, of course, less than 5,000, and over a period of time, you'd have to spend that $9,750 just to break even on this annual fee, while you would already be at $117 with the Business Unlimited for spending $7,800. Now, let's go to the Business Premier at 2.5%. Now, if you were to spend $7,800, which means you'd have to spend that $7,800 in one transaction, you would earn 2.5%. So if you took 0.025 and multiply that times $7,800, then you would end up with $195. That would be your break even. So in order to have this card possibly make sense for you, you would have to either spend $9,750 at 2% cash back to essentially break even on the annual fee, or you'd have to spend $7,800 in one transaction in order to get back $195 and break even. Whereas with the Business Unlimited, if you were to just spend that $7,800, then you would profit $117, just up front. I'm going to give you some more examples to break this down just to see if this makes sense for you to use this card. Here is another example with some more figures. Now, on the Inc. Business Unlimited, that's the one with no annual fee. If you were to spend $39,000 at 1.5% cash back with no annual fee, you would make $585. That's for $39,000, probably in the course of a year, or maybe less if you had, a lot of spend. On the Inc. Premier, you would need to spend $39,000 at 2% minus your annual fee to get $585. Now, I'll show you how I got this figure. If you take $39,000, you multiply that times 0.02, then you would end up with $780. But of course, you had an annual fee, right? If you deduct that $195 for the annual fee, you would still end up with $585. So in this case, if you were just going to get the 2% on the Business Premier, if you spend $39,000 on both of these cards, you come out the same. It may or may not make sense for you. But if you were to look at the Inc. Premier and you were to spend $19,500, almost, slightly almost half at 2.5% minus the annual fee, you would break even. You would actually end up with $195. So the thing is, if you were to spend, more than $5,000 on transactions and they were to equate to $19,500, you would get the annual fee back. Now, on the Inc. Premier, if you were to spend $39,000 at 2.5%, you would actually end up with $975 minus the $195 annual fee. You would be profiting $780. So why all these figures? My point is, if you're not going to be doing high spend, you're probably better off with the Inc. Unlimited. If you're going to be doing a higher spend, then you're better off with the Inc. Premier, because you can actually end up getting a lot more bang for your buck if you're going to spend more. So just, kind of think about that and, weigh your pros and cons of what you're looking to do. Now, there are some good things about the Inc. Premier, and we're going to go over, my final thoughts here in comparison to some other cards that you may or may not have or you may be looking at. Now, for my final thoughts, this card only benefits those who plan to spend a lot. If that's not for you, then the Chase Unlimited would be a better option. And if you're spending money on things like inventory, business expenses that can be paid back in 30 days, this is a really great option for you. There aren't that many cards that give you 2.5% cash back, so this could be a game changer. And I don't like that you're not earning ultimate reward points that are transferable, but some people don't even know what those points are. On this channel, we don't really talk about point hacking and stuff like that. I do it all the time. That's how I've been looking at paying for traveling and doing things like that. I don't talk about it enough, but maybe I will in the future. But that's something that can be very beneficial to you. Why pay for travel and things of that nature when you can have your card do it if you're going to be spending that money anyway? It just makes sense. So if the few $100s don't seem to make a big difference for you, then I think you should really think about this a lot more, because if you're spending a lot, you should be earning a lot more for what you're spending. But for those of you who are maybe starting a new business and you're not going to be doing that high spend, you probably would be better off with a 0% APR card with 2% unlimited cash back, like the Wells Fargo Signify card. That may be a better option because you can still earn a flat 2% cash back on everything, but you also have the option of doing 0% APR for the promotion that's going on currently, while the other one, the Chase Unlimited, only gives you 1.5% cash back. So there are some different things that you can look at, but think about this. The Amex Platinum gives you 5x points for travel, but that card has a $695 annual fee. While there are some perks, like you could get Clear and TSA PreCheck essentially for free, that's kind of like a standard with most travel cards. Now, if we're just talking about money that you can earn, this is probably a better option than that, especially when you think about how high that annual fee is. It's almost not even a comparison. So if we're comparing the Amex Platinum, the business version, this is a much better option than a card like that. Way lower annual fee, the same cash back for travel, and you get cash back. That flat 2.5% is good if you're spending more than $5,000. I mean, you'll definitely get more value out of this. So this may be a better option if we're comparing those, but it's all about how you see it and what exactly you're doing with your business. Now, here's a few data points. It's really not that much different from the previous one, but your credit score should be anywhere between a 680 and an 850. At the time of me applying for this card, my credit score was a 763. All right, that's going to be a hard pull from Experian. You want to have less than 2 inquiries at least 90 days old. Now, I will say that when I applied for this card, it was not an instant approval. I did have to call and verify my identity. I think it was because I put in a previous application in a very short period of time, and that is the reason. My recommendation is opening up a checking and savings account and make consistent deposits for 90 days. And I would say that you need to do this if your credit score is less than a 720. I recommend that you make those deposits and you do that. You'll probably receive a higher limit. The standard credit limit on this card, like if you apply for this card, you're guaranteed a $10,000 credit line. So in actuality, I received the lowest limit possible. I didn't get a higher limit. So there's a lot higher that this card can go to. But again, this card is really good if you're doing that high spend. If you're not doing that, then it doesn't really make sense. You might as well stick with the unlimited or the Inc. Business Cash and get 0% APR for 12 months. While they may not give you as high of a limit up front, you can always work your way up. Now, this business credit card will report to Experian Business, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax Business. So you should keep that in mind when you're applying for other cards, like especially cards with US Bank. It can affect whether or not you're approved if these cards have a balance. For this card, because it is a charge card, more than likely you're not going to carry a balance on this card anyway, so that may not matter. With the Chase Inc. Cash and in the unlimited, those you may carry a balance because they do have 0% APR currently for the promotions going on at this time. So just keep that in mind, that if you do carry a balance, that could be the reason why you're denied for some other cards, especially with US Bank. I do have a referral link in the description. Now, with this referral link, if you get the Inc. Business, the Premier, the Unlimited, or the Cash, I can be rewarded if you are approved for the card. I do believe that the referral links help. There are a few people that have gotten a lot of cards with the referral links, especially with American Express and some other Chase cards. So thank you guys for that. If you would like to use that referral link, it will be in the description. If you do, I appreciate it. If not, that's fine too. But it will be there for you. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do hope that this comparison kind of gave you some insight as to whether or not you should get this card. Again, I don't believe it's for everyone. You can get 2% flat with the Signify card with Wells Fargo with no annual fee and 0% APR. If you want to get a card with Chase, then you can also do the Cash Inc. card, or you can do the other card, the Unlimited, for 1.5% cash back. That is up to you. But there are some benefits to this card. Like I said, if you were going to get the Amex Platinum business card, you might want to consider this as a much better alternative if you didn't want to do a $695 annual fee and maybe you were going to use it for your business card. I think that this is a great card because you get the benefit of 5% back for travel, which you can get on the Amex Platinum, but the Amex Platinum will not give you 2.5% cash back for all of your high spend transactions, or a flat 2% for that matter. So again, this one can be a really, really good. It just all depends on exactly what you're doing. I would suggest you weigh the pros and cons to see exactly if it makes sense for you and your business needs at this time. And if it does not, it probably will in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it, and you have a wonderful day.